it's Edie Lush, and I'm inside the Hub Culture studio, but outside the ICEhouse, which is our magnificent building. Responsible for the ICEhouse is the man here himself, Bill McDonough. Thanks for stepping back in.
Delighted.
What do you think of the new studio, first of all?
I love this. You're right on the street. You're right in the middle of everything.
It's good, and the snow's coming down.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I am continually fascinated by life below sea, one of the Sustainable Development Goals, and one of the things that has really caught the world's imagination this year is the issue of plastic within sea. And I want to talk to you about it because I know that the recyclable plastic is a huge part of the ICEhouse. It's up there behind us. And part of it is what happens when plastic comes to the end of its use in the thing for which it was originally created. I know you've been working on that, so tell me a little about that.
Well, I think the important thing is what you just said when you said end of its use.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say end of its life,
Right.
which is a really important distinction because we call these technical nutrition for the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's really something that gets reused. It doesn't have an end of life. That's part of the issue when it ends up in the ocean. It's a durable form of carbon in the wrong place, at the wrong dose, in the wrong duration. So that's why we have to really think about plastics and how to redesign them for the future so they have intergenerational benefit. So we're looking now at plastics that can biodegrade perfectly to carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all the way, not into tiny bits of plastic, which is part of the problem in the oceans.
Yep, the
The microplastics. But also we're looking at how to have an economy that can cycle these plastics perpetually without letting them go fugitive. So
I love that idea of fugitive because it means it escapes. It escapes the use that it had, and it's out there not being a good thing.
I called it a new language of carbon and did an article in the journal Nature on this, and basically said that when somebody says being carbon negative is a positive, that means the carbon itself must be negative because we keep thinking of CO2 in the atmosphere,
Right.
or methane. The problem is it's not the carbon that's negative because we are carbon. It's the human behavior that's negative. So if we characterize the carbon, we have atmospheric carbon made by humans as a problem. It's fugitive carbon. It's too much. And then we have durable carbon, which would be plastics that are recycled, wood beams that are sitting in buildings for 1,000 years, that kind of thing, durable carbon. And then we have living carbon, which is going to soil and coming from the atmosphere to soil. So those are the three kinds of carbon. So we see plastics typically as a form of durable carbon. That's why the plastics here are durable while we use them, and then when we finish with them, they're designed to go back to become themselves again. That's recycling. But what happens to the ocean plastics when we collect them? They're miscellaneous material. We don't have a definition. They have no value. That's how they got there in the first place. So what we really need to do is start gathering this and doing chemical recycling.
So that means, now I've just been helping my 15-year-old son with his science project on cracking, so I know all about cracking. So it's basically taking the plastic, breaking it down into its components, and then building something else up. So what can you make?
Just about anything. You can take all these plastics and take them back to their precursors and their original materials, essentially go back to oil in a sense. So that's the idea. So in a way, it's a form of upcycling at this point, which is an improvement of a thing. Because if you're just recycling something that's suboptimal with the wrong materials, then you're recycling the wrong thing. So it's really downcycling. Things are losing quality. With this notion of getting back to the raw material and cleaning out the contaminants, you're upcycling it. You're actually improving its quality and putting it back into continuous reuse.
Tell me about some of the other projects you've been working on. You're now in fashion.
Yeah. Sort of. We created something called Fashion for Good in Amsterdam. I'm a co-founder with the CNA Foundation. And we're taking the cradle-to-cradle protocols for textiles and clothing and putting them out there for everyone to use. So we've tracked all the work we've done in the mills, and it's quite a beautiful story because one of the mills in India, the only water leaving the mill is that's evaporating. The people are being treated with dignity and grace. The materials have all been analyzed down to the parts per million, parts per billion. 100% of the molecules of this clothing is safe for people and environment. And it's organic cotton and so on. So we're putting all that protocol and making it available to the whole fashion industry.
That's extraordinary, and you're doing it with what's normally known as a fast fashion brand.
Exactly. So we have a €7 T-shirt that is is, for all intents and purposes, the perfect piece of clothing. So simple. It's nice.
Incredible. So what's next?
Just more training of people and engaging with young people everywhere on this, because they're very excited about it. And it's fun to see Cradle to Cradle being taken up by so many people around the world. So,
do you feel like it has gotten more of an acceptance in terms of in the usage and what people use with the Sustainable Development Goals?
I think so. It's obviously always feels incipient when you're the founder of something. So
right.
it's a 25-year overnight sensation. You know. So, but it is fun to watch it getting picked up by people everywhere.
And I know that the ICEhouse structure, you've now been able to replicate something like it in Colombia. Is that right?
Right. We're doing a university, UEAN, for Bogota, and it's a school for entrepreneurs, people that were starting up small, medium enterprises, using Cradle to Cradle Foundation for the development of new companies. And there are 18,000 students. So
incredible.
Yeah, that's under construction now.
Great, and the outside of the building is all with this?
The building is a brick, a local brick skin, covered with the Wonder Frame, like the ICEhouse, as a trellis that holds these beautiful colored triangles, because Colombia is a place full of color and delight. So the building actually looks like a big tree shimmering in the sunshine.
I love it. Well, I'm going to have to come see it.
Yeah, me too.
Bill, thank you so much for stopping by the studio here at Hub Culture, and I'm Edie Lush.